70-minute travel time and about a 35 to 40-minute delay on the southbound side just from Everett down to Seattle. You two are dealing with about a 70-minute ride and about a 45-minute delay, so still very busy on I-5. 405 southbound out of Bellevue as you make your way down to Tacoma, still dealing with about a 45 to 50-minute ride, having about 20 to 30 minutes worth of delays through there. Cleaned up that earlier problem in the Bellevue Freeway southbound at Highway 410. However, we're still dealing with about a 42-minute ride from Olympia, so give yourself that extra time. In the Northwest News Radio Traffic Center, I'm Andy Gibbons.
Andy, thank you. This report sponsored by Staples. Quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples, that was easy.
All right, let's get your weather forecast now with Shannon O'Donnell. The hottest stretch of summer days we've had so far. Hi there, everybody. We are talking about a quick warm up into the 80s as we head into the weekend. Already inching in that direction tomorrow, but mid to upper 80s by Sunday and highs in the low 90s in the hotter pockets of Puget Sound by Tuesday and Wednesday. In the Come Forward Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. And temperatures right now around the Sound, it's been cloudy all day in most areas, kind of a bright cloudiness, if you will. We've got 71 degrees in Bremerton with some clouds, and Everett partly sunny, and 69 here in Seattle, partly sunny, and 70 degrees. It's now 5:06 at Northwest News Radio.
And we turn to your local news headlines. We have more developments in that overnight shooting in Tacoma that sent 2 people to the hospital. Around 1:15 a.m., police received a call about 2 men who were shot and found in Tacoma. They were taken to a hospital for surgery. Still waiting on an update on their condition. The investigation spread to a Motel 6 and 5 along 20th Street, south of I-5. It's a few blocks west of I-5. Police Chief Doug Newman says they found 5 suspects who were able to get out of a motel room.
So originally we were able to take 5 into custody. Detectives were able to determine that 4 of them were investigative leads, and they've since been released after being interviewed. 1 has been arrested.
Police don't know the circumstances leading to the shooting. They say it's a complicated investigation with more than one scene.
A new partnership aimed at reducing gun violence announces encouraging news. We get more from Northwest News Radio's Denise Whitaker. The goal? Solve non-fatal shootings and reach out to those most at risk from gun violence. Police and prosecutors from King County, the City of Kent, and community groups started working on this initiative last fall. First quarter data now shows Kent as a bright spot for reducing gun violence. The South Sound reported a 50% decrease in shots fired incidents, compared with a 32% reduction county-wide. So how do they accomplish this? With regular meetings regarding each incident. Police and prosecutors work their end, while Project Be Free and the Latino Civic Alliance conduct direct outreach to people. So far, they've referred more than 50 people in Kent for individualized case management and supportive services to increase the level of safety and decrease the chance of them end up a victim. Denise Whitaker, Northwest News Radio, 97.7 AM 1000.
King County plans to spend $15 million to retrofit the entire fleet of Metro buses with new protective barriers. At the Regional Transit Safety Task Force meeting Wednesday, the agency said it hopes to begin installation in December at a rate of 30 installations a week until they're installed in all buses. Greg Caulfield, president of the Automated Transit Union, says this is a step in the right direction.
For operators safely do their job and not have to worry about being assaulted, it's going to make a big difference.
According to Metro, the agency increased its security officers count from 60 in 2021 to 220 in 2025. The task force was created after bus driver Sean Yin was stabbed to death by a passenger last December.
As we've been telling you, temperatures are supposed to warm up this weekend, and there's and bad news for beachgoers. Palm Beach and Oregon is back open for swimming, wading, and other activities. Public Health Seattle and King County closed the beach for 2 weeks after water samples showed dangerous levels of bacteria. That's the good news, that they're reopened. The bad news for 3 other King County beaches, Angle Lake and Maine Howard Bay, both closed right now due to high levels of bacteria, and Lake Marcel also closed for toxic algae. Waters in those areas will be tested again next week.
The last piece of Seattle's waterfront makeover now has an opening date. Northwest News Radio's Lillian Beck tells us the details.
Seattle's Pier 58 at the end of this month. The park will include a massive jellyfish aquatic structure, an 18-foot tall slide, a lawn, a tree grove, aggressive. Keep in mind, all the while, there are these weapon systems that Ukraine wants that are being withheld.
So who ordered the pause last week?
I don't know. What did you tell me?
The president is asked who ordered the pause on weapon systems, and President Trump basically says in a very kind of annoyed tone, I don't know, you tell me.
Wait, he's the commander-in-chief, so I get if we've had the Pentagon and the White House say, like, yes, we're pausing these weapons, and the president say, well, I didn't personally pause the weapon, who else would that fall to? Like, who actually gives the green light to this stuff?
Well, so then all of the attention shifts back to the Pentagon, which, by the way, had done a press conference on pausing the weapons and had said that they had done so because, well, we can't give weapons to everybody. But the question here, I think, is what this comes down to, is in usual times what would happen is that the defense secretary would circulate this. They would circulate it throughout the Defense Department. They would circulate it at the State Department. They would ask people for their opinion. Does this impact negotiations with Russia and Ukraine? Does this, make your job harder, essentially? And everybody would weigh in. And then you would eventually go to the White House and you would give them a heads up that you believed that we should pause these weapon shipments, and somebody at the White House would get involved. We don't know if that took place. It looks very much like it did not. It looks like what happened was the Defense Department reviewed these weapons, they put a pause on it, they wanted the president to weigh in. He was on the phone with Putin getting upset and just figured, what is going on here? Let's get these weapons moving. We did hear yesterday that those weapon shipments have resumed, at least some of them, not all of them. So there is a question still about what Ukraine is getting, what they still need.
And what happens next between this White House and Russia? Because at this point, even Republican senators are talking about sanctions.
Yeah, they're talking about sanctions, which is kind of like this old world is sort of creeping in, this old world of thinking about how to handle President Putin that Trump was very resistant towards, which was sanctions, to be tough on Russia. That was something that we always heard from Republicans because they believed him to be a threat to Europe, which in turn was a threat to the United States. Something you have to watch in coming days is, this division within the Republican Party about people who do not believe in that intervention internationally. They believe in America first and kind of that isolationist tendencies versus the part of the party that says Putin is someone to be confronted.
And the difference between sort of tough talk, saying Putin's up to no good, and actually slapping sanctions or whatever it is on him already. Ian Flaherty at the Pentagon right now. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brad.
Wall Street Update, sponsored by Elevated Financial Management.
And let's tell you how we did in the markets today. The Dow Jones closing up 192 points. The S&P 500 up 17. The NASDAQ up 19 points today.
Coming up on Northwest News Radio, there's hope in the Middle East that a peace deal can hold. We'll find out the sticking points of that latest deal.
And a look at the discipline coming to Secret Service agents after attack on President Trump.
And roster turnover coming to soccer in Seattle. Bill Swartz tells us who's coming and going from the pitch.
It's 5:14 at Northwest News Radio.
Traffic on the floors, sponsored by Northwest Crawl Space Services.
We check in with Andy Bass for the latest in your commute.
And we're getting reports of a brand new stalled vehicle blocking two right lanes. Looks like he was trying to get over to the right shoulder, didn't quite make it. Right and center lane are partially blocked off with this disabled vehicle. And this is all happening at I-5 northbound, right at Highway 526 in Everett. So anywhere from Seattle as you make your way to Everett, you're still dealing with about a 60 to 65 minute ride and about 35 to 40 minutes worth of delays through there. On the southbound side from Everett, as you make your way to Seattle, you too are dealing with about a 75-minute ride and about 50 minutes worth of delays. No reported accidents, just bumper-to-bumper traffic throughout that entire stretch. I-5 southbound, anywhere from Seattle as you make your way to Tacoma, you too are still dealing with about an hour drive time, 25 to 30 minutes worth of delays. Cleaned up that earlier accident in the Des Moines area on I-5 southbound on the approach to Highway 516, which is good news, but you still got some heavy delays in and around that area. South Sound, anywhere from Tacoma as you make your way down to Olympia, you're still dealing with about a 50 to 55 minute drive time and about a 25-minute delay through there. So give yourself that extra time. Heading up into the North Sound area, still trying to clean up that earlier problem in Bothell on-ramp from Juanita Woodinville Way. As you ramp to the northbound side of 405, that ramp still has restrictions as officials still trying to clean up that mess. Anywhere from Bellevue to Linwood along northbound 405, you are looking at a 35-minute drive. In the Northwest News Radio Traffic Center, I'm Andy Bass.
And your weather forecast, if you like it warm, you're going to love this. Tomorrow, it It will be sunny and warmer with highs in the low 80s by Saturday, low 80s to mid 80s Sunday and Monday. We're looking at mid 80s and close to 90 by Tuesday. Currently in Olympia, it's cloudy and 72. Bellevue warming up with mostly cloudy and 75. Here in Seattle, we do have partly cloudy, some sunshine and 73 degrees.
This is Northwest News Radio, 97.7 AM 1000.
5:16 here at Northwest News Radio. There's plenty of optimism that a U.S. proposed ceasefire could be agreed to by both Israel and Hamas sooner rather than later. News Nation's Robert Sherman reports from Tel Aviv.
We're hearing from all sides here, particularly just from the Israelis a few moments ago, that they're looking at a timetable more so weeks as opposed to days potentially, but they do like the direction these conversations are going. However, there is now public acknowledgement that this wouldn't necessarily be the only deal here. Not all of those hostages would be coming out in one go. You would still be seeing some left inside of the Gaza Strip. But these conversations are still pushing forward here. And you have really seen this entering the public sphere this week. Steve Witkoff, for example, the special envoy, said at the beginning of the week there were about 4 sticking points that they needed to get past. Now he says that they're down to 1, and all that really comes down to the position of Hamas inside of Gaza, the permanence of a ceasefire. There have reportedly been some quote-unquote secret conversations with Ron Dermer, who is effectively Israel's chief negotiator. The president was asked about those talks, and this is what he had to say. Take a listen.
I will tell you, we're getting very close to a deal. I don't know if it's secret or not secret, but it doesn't matter to me. Secret's fine if it gets us to where we want to be. We want to have a ceasefire. We want to have peace. We want to get the hostages back. And I think we're close to doing it.
I think we're close to doing that. That is the sentiment that we've heard from now just about all parties that are here. That big sticking point that we talked about, though, what happens to Gaza after the war, the possibility of a permanent ceasefire. We just heard from Israeli Prime Minister who gave what he's describing as their core demands, and I want to read that for you. This must be done under the minimal conditions we've set. Hamas must lay down its arms, Gaza must be demilitarized, and Hamas can no longer have any military or governing capabilities. These are our core demands. Those are certainly going to be the toughest sticking points in order to move past here when it comes to negotiations.
It's now 5:19. The Mariners in the Bronx trying to avoid another loss against the New York Yankees. And guess what? It's the top of the 4th inning. The Mariners up 2-0. Meanwhile, one U.S. women's soccer player is joining Seattle, while another is retiring. Bill Swartz has the latest.
Seattle Reign FC have signed national team forward Mia Fischel to a contract for the 2029 season. The 24-year-old from UCLA has played the past 2 years for England's Chelsea FC, so the Reign had to pay a transfer fee to get her. After winning 2 World Cups and 2 Olympic gold medals, U.S. national team star Tobin Heath has announced her retirement from competitive soccer. She helped Seattle and Portland both win regular season titles. For Stefan Fry and concussion protocol, the Sounders lean on backup goalkeeper Andrew Thomas for Saturday's MLS game at Sporting Kansas City. Certainly a tough place to play.
Games like that where conditions can be tricky, as you know. I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you ladies and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off for instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening. Visit ProSculpt.com.
Every family has a story to tell. At Dunn Lumber, ours is about trust. During the Great Depression, trust was hard to come by. People were so skeptical of banks. Customers would stop by the lumberyard, put their money in an envelope, and leave it in the safe. The safe still stands today as a symbol of our most valuable asset, your trust. If there's ever anything we can do to better earn your trust, email me personally. Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
Dunn Lumber, building trust since 1907.
At Fred Meyer, you never compromise. You get a high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Fred Meyer shoppers. You never compromise. Fred Meyer. Fresh for everyone.
Save big on 6 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Right now, select varieties are only $2.99 each with your digital coupon. Fred Meyer, fresh for everyone.
It's 524 at Northwest News Radio.
Traffic on the 4s is sponsored by Northwest Crawl Space Services.
Let's check in with Andy Bass to find out what's happening on the roadways.
Oh, well, it looks like the officials pushed that disabled vehicle off to the right shoulder in Everett of I-5 northbound right at Highway 526. That's exit 189. You're still dealing with about a 65 to 70-minute ride anywhere from Seattle as you make your way into Everett, and about a 40-minute delay behind it, so give yourself that extra time. Southbound I-5 from Everett as you make your way into Seattle. You too are dealing with about a 75, 80-minute drive time, 55 minutes worth of delays in there. So very heavy rush hour delays along I-5 southbound. Once you get from Seattle down to Tacoma, that's about a 55-minute ride, about a 20 to 25-minute delay in there since we've cleaned up that earlier accident I-5 southbound as you approached 84th Street in Hosmer. Heading up into the Bothell area, still got 405 northbound on-ramp from Juanita Woodinville Way. That on-ramp is still restricted with that earlier accident. Give yourself about 5 extra minutes. In the Northwest News Radio Traffic Center, I'm Andy Bass.
Andy, thank you. This report sponsored by Staples. Quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples. That was easy.
Here's your weather forecast. So I think you're going to like it if you like warm weather. We've got sunshine headed our way with highs in the low 80s tomorrow. Saturday, highs in the low 80s as well. Sunday and Monday, we're going to see sunshine once again, low to mid 80s. And then it looks like we might even get close to 90 on Tuesday. That's Kelly Clarkson, and it turns out the Kelly Clarkson Show is getting the green light for a 7th season. The daytime talk show will return for a new installment in September. The 6th season aired its finale on June 25th. An official date for the upcoming season has yet to be announced, but there had been rumors that Kelly Clarkson was ready to hang up the microphone on her talk show, but now it sounds like she will be back.
When the heat's rising outside, the last thing you need to deal with is energy loss, or worse, rodents stealing your cool air. Yep, your crawl space could be home to rats, rodents, and energy-wasting damage that you can't even see. But Northwest Crawl Space Services is here to help you take control of your comfort, and they can help you save thousands of dollars in energy-efficient upgrades. In partnership with Puget Sound Energy, Northwest Crawl Space Services offers a rebate program that can cover up to 95% of your attic and crawl space project. Rodents aren't just gross, they destroy insulation. They can send your summer energy bills through the roof. But Northwest Crawl Space Services can keep your home pest-free and energy efficient with the most reliable rodent damage protection plan in the industry. And the best part, they're PSE certified. So